Hello, everybody. Welcome to Laura Cain After Dark. Happy Monday. Woo-hoo.
Happy Monday.
Dude, it is the middle of August almost.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, by the way, where did summer go? Was there even a summer? Did we have summer? Like, kids are back in school starting this week.
All I've done is work. I don't know.
In July, kids in the South Bay went back. Kids are going back to school a lot earlier than we did.
That's why I wore this hat.
What's it say? Get your kid away from me. That's not very nice. Anyway, I'm Laura Cain. This is Erik Rimmer.
I got an applause from the audience.
Oh, yes. I'll tell you about it. Producer Brian.
Hello.
Welcome back from your little trip. That's why we weren't on last week, because we cannot function without Brian.
Yikes.
We literally cannot function.
We're two bumbling.
Yeah, we're bumbling idiots. No, we're not. Well, kind of. We're just old and don't know how to work equipment, right?
That's right.
Okay, so we have a very special guest on with us tonight, Dr. Luke Swistun. See these babies right here? Life-changing decision that I made. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, was it 3 years ago now?
And they look good.
I'm sorry, but totally changed my life, outlook, confidence, everything, the best. But anyway, he has a story. We have a story to tell you about my sister and why she was down here today with me and Dr. Swistun, and her story and her journey she's about to go on. And there are so many different, choices now with regard to breast implants. There's so many different things you can do these days. So many different options that when I walked away, I was in there for part of the consultation. When she got undressed, she's like, "Get out of here." So I'm like, "Okay, I'm your sister. Come on, whatever." But anyway,
Perv.
No, I just, we're family, but whatever. So she had a private moment with the doctor, and I understand that, but whatever, kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but that's okay. No big deal. I'm just kidding. But before we have Dr. Swistun on, and he's going to talk about all the things that are new as far as cosmetic surgery. He's with Jolla Cosmetic Surgery Center.
Yes.
And
I should probably take notes.
Do you know about 360 lipo? Do you know about BBL? Do you know about?
I know about BBL.
I know. So there's a lot of really.
I don't know what 360 lipo is.
Oh, well, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think I know. It's I'm thinking that it's when you're almost like a roasted ham on a spit. Where you turn 360 lipo, you get around.
I might need it for my head.
I'm sure that's not how they do it, but that's how I see it. You get the whole entire body. It's incredible.
Just an apple in your mouth, and you're just like,
no.
Oh.
Dr. Swiss is probably shut up. That's not the way it is. Anyway, no, he's so awesome. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. But we thought we'd do a little bit of Double D first before we bring on our special guest.
Yes.
Do we have some Double D news? I'm sure we do. We always do. Oh, and there might be a special correspondent opportunity.
I know who it is.
Okay.
Yeah, direct from Hollywood.
Yes, direct from Hollywood.
Just here for the Double D news.
Oh yeah, and of course, Dr. Swistun.
Yes. Paris Hilton's marriage to Carter Rome may be on the rocks over her refusal to give up the spotlight despite being a mother to 2 toddlers.
Okay. Wow. And did you hear the other Paris Hilton news? Did you hear what she got for her birthday?
No.
From this husband?
No.
A pink jet.
Oh, come
with stenciled on the side of the jet. It's the fanciest private jet you can get. Mm-hmm. That's hot.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So that was her birthday present. So at least, she got a big gift before things go downhill, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude.
She'll be able to fly to see her divorce lawyer a lot easier.
Right.
Kelly Clarkson's ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, died at 48 of cancer. She has canceled the remainder of her residency in Vegas.
That's so sad.
Yeah. It sounds like even though they had all that kind of bad blood between them, that she still...
Well, yeah. I mean, you marry somebody, you have kids with somebody, you're always going to love that person. Maybe you're not going to, maybe they're not in love. Maybe they've had maybe wasn't the nicest person to her or vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still going to hurt your heart when
Yeah.
you lose somebody like that. It was
Yeah.
a big part of her life for a very long time.
And their kids are still really young.
That's so sad.
Remember Lonnie Anderson from WKRP in Cincinnati?
Yes.
She died
No!
at 80, just days before her 80th birthday.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
We went on that
Yes.
that tour. It was like a meet and greet of some old school celebrities
Yeah, we
in
met
LA.
her, Barbara Eden.
The one thing she told me, because she looked incredible.
Yeah.
This was about 5 years ago. And I said, what is the one piece of advice you could give another woman, to look like this, at your age? And she's like, moisturize, moisturize, moisturize every morning, every night, your entire body. Always moisturize. And I'm like, from that point on, that's all that I've been doing that. So hopefully, at 80,
It's working. It's working.
Thank you.
Netflix downgraded their massive contract and escapes a $100 million loss with Harry and Meghan.
Wait,
So everything that they've done so far for Netflix has just not been successful.
Oh, okay.
So somehow Netflix was able to kind of downgrade their own contract with them.
Okay, so they currently have a contract with them to produce more content with them, and now they don't have to produce as much content with them.
Probably because she's like a poison pill to anything.
Saving them $100 million.
Well,
there you go.
Does she have something currently on Netflix?
I don't know, but she just seems to be unlikable.
In all ways.
It's that cooking show that was the most recent with her that
That's
nobody
right.
liked, that everybody trashed.
Because I think she might just be perhaps the most pretentious person to ever exist. She gives that vibe.
Do you think that she is to blame for the whole fallout with the royal family?
100%.
No, probably.
Well, but only like 90% of it. There's 10% that's him for sure, but I bet she was,
Do you think the royals need a change to go with the times, or should they stay exactly the same?
It doesn't matter.
But is it the
pomp and circumstance?
Yeah,
of it?
that should stay the same.
It literally doesn't matter because they're meaningless.
Well, they're meaningful to that country.
But they have like no action. They don't have like no inherent meaning besides the fact they're just, inherent celebrities.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what they do because they have very little actual, purpose outside of just pomp and circumstance.
Well, he's the king now, right? I mean,
with no power.
I know. I'm like, I don't even know what the
king of what?
What does the king do? I don't really know.
The king of the island of Chad. I don't know.
They don't have to. They can be as traditional or as forward thinking as they want. I don't think it really matters. Nothing will change because of it.
I just feel sorry for Harry because he doesn't get any security as far as, watching his back if somebody wants to kidnap him or something. He has no inheritance anymore if that's what he was going to get.
I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he's still very, very rich.
Well, he did come out with that book. I don't know if that made any money. Did you read his book?
He's got money. He'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Thanks for reassuring me.
I would not be worried about the just because some prince lost his fortune.
Right.
Wouldn't be too worried.
And his family.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That was his choice.
Yeah, it was.
Have you seen the Naked Gun reboot?
No. I don't really plan to.
A couple weeks ago I watched it, and it was very funny. Pamela Anderson was great in it.
Yeah, hers good.
Yeah, she was really good.
Who was good in it?
Pamela Anderson.
Oh, okay.
She was great in it. Rumors are that she and Liam Neeson are dating.
I saw that.
And I'm not mad about that. I think they're
it.
a very sweet couple together.
Wait, since when has he been single?
His wife died in the skiing accident.
When?
Years ago.
He's been single since then?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
I know. So
And I love him and I love her. So
I think it's very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she needs somebody like that. Jennifer Lopez battles a grasshopper during her recent concert. Did you see the footage of this?
Oh my gosh, I would have been freaking out.
So a huge grasshopper while she's singing lands right about here and just crawls up and rests on her neck. And then she just kind of flicks it off.
She did not miss a beat. She just kept singing this big giant things crawling up her neck.
I would have been out of if it would have been a spider, out of there.
I'm sorry, the grasshopper would have freaked you out.
No, the grasshopper would not. If it was a roach or a spider, that would have been curtains for me.
She didn't even look down to see what it was. So you wouldn't have known.
I would have dropped dead on stage, and that would have been it.
You would have thrown the mic and run.
No, there wouldn't have been time. I would have just died right there.
Oh my gosh.
So, go ahead.
Oh, is it time for me, the special correspondent?
Yes. Oh, special correspondent from LA, Cain.
Okay, so the odds on next year's Super Bowl halftime performer. Here we go. What do you think about these names? And who do you think will get it? Okay. Jay-Z, reportedly the favorite to headline.
No way.
No.
Okay. Followed by Post Malone.
No.
Maybe, but
is he the one with the tattoos all over his face?
Yeah.
One of the one. There's a couple guys there.
Yes, but yes.
Miley Cyrus.
Maybe.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I would too.
I love Miley. Yeah.
Bad Bunny.
No.
Probably not.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. And then Metallica. How about
That'd be
Metallica? That would be really sick.
Honestly, the halftime Super Bowl show is boring though. Anyways.
Not always.
Usually
Depends on. I
it's-
mean, if you like the person that's playing, you're gonna like it.
Yeah, no, you're watching a short lame concert on TV.
Kendrick Lamar was not lame. It was good with all the dancing and the choreography and everything.
I will not be watching regardless of who performs.
Well, you are negative.
I'm just saying, I think it's an overblown.
Donna had one of the best halftime shows ever.
I know
That halftime show was
I actually
amazing.
don't remember that. I don't remember
The last
that
one I
either.
remember was J-Lo and
Oh,
Whoever
yes.
else.
When she referred to Shakira as that girl.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was.
They were like on poles, dancing on poles. I remember that, the pole dancing.
I just remember being kind of bored.
Wow, with Shakira?
Yes.
She's hot.
She's so hot. She's incredibly hot. So Ed Sheeran says there are a lot of singers who lip sync and would never admit it.
Sure.
He goes, you know what? I'm not one of them because it's just me and the guitar, and there's no one else to cover me. So I don't lip sync, but there are many, many, many
Did
performers.
he spill the tea on who?
No, he didn't. Now, is this cute or is this creepy? Benny Blanco, you know how he's dating Selena Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
He says that when she is out of town or they're apart for a while, he wears her perfume on himself just so he feels her close to her.
I think that's fine.
I don't think that's weird.
You don't think that's creepy at all?
Mm-mm.
That's the same thing with chicks wearing their boyfriend's hoodies because it smells like them.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved. Oh, that makes me want a boyfriend just to do that. Anyway.
Well, good luck with that.
I know. Okay, now let's cue some music because we have someone very special. I can't wait to introduce you guys
I'm very
to
excited.
Dr. Luke Swistun. Come on up. It's
I've already
time.
used all of our
Oh,
music.
and bring your the bag of goodies for Erik. Yeah, sneak right in here. I know. It's really tight quarters. Here, I got this for you. There we go. There we go.
I like your jacket.
I know. He's so okay. I want to know what car you drove to get here because he has some very nice vehicles. That's like one of your passions, right?
Maybe. I grew up in Europe, so yes.
Oh, you grew up. Yeah, I could see that.
This one's for Erik.
Oh, yeah.
I know you'd be so excited.
I thought it would break up the tension here, so let me
Yes.
put these on.
Right? See, he'll be playing with that the entire.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Isn't that? Don't they feel so great?
You know, I have one of those little stress balls at work.
Yes.
And it ruptured today.
It did. You were so stressed out.
That's
You
an
ruptured
omen.
the stress ball. Wait, is that was a joke?
We gave him a $1,000 implant.
No, I'm not going to be like, I'm never giving it back.
Oh my gosh.
So
Now, is this a silicone or is this saline?
that's a silicone implant. That's one of the newer ones that is out in the market right now. It's called Motiva, and
Okay.
we're here.
And how's Motiva different than your average implant?
Well, they've been on the market for a while, and part of what they tout is that they have a lowest implant contracture or capsular contracture rates, which, as you're probably familiar with from this morning.
Yes.
That was one of the issues that we faced with
My
your sister.
my sister. Okay, so this is what happened. This is why I was with Dr. Swistun today. Jenny, my sister, I call her Jenny, but Jennifer she goes by. She got breast implants in 2004. And she went pretty large because at that point in her life, that's something she wanted. And over the years, so that's a long time, 21 years. And, the implants are not supposed to last you your entire life necessarily. But she was starting to get all sorts of pain and hard, really hard, like she could feel the scar tissue starting to form and they were becoming bigger. And she's like, I don't know what is going on. So I'm like, you need to come down and talk to somebody at Jolla Cosmetic Surgery Center. And I'm so glad it's Dr. Swistun, because Dr. Swistun's the one that did my breast augmentation, and I couldn't be happier. I'm like, you just need to come down. So this morning she came down, we met, and the things that I learned today about the choices you have as a woman for breast implants or not are many. Mm-hmm. She walked away from meeting with you with a whole new outlook. She might go with a procedure that she didn't even know was available to her. So maybe you can explain maybe kind of what you saw that she had. She's okay with me talking about all of this, by the way. What you saw like when you were examining her, and the different options that she has available to her.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, and thank you for having me here, by the way.
Of course.
But yeah, so, the long story short is implants are not meant to last forever. They have a shelf life that is shorter than anybody's lifespan. And I will say that to anybody at any age. I mean, there are patients who ask for a remove and replace of an implant at the age of like 75 and 77. We had this conversation. She's like, that implant is, on average, they only last about 10, 13, 15 years before they rupture or have a complication on average. So if you put one in at even 75, there's a realistic chance that you might have another surgery in your lifetime to have to deal with the complications or remove it at some point. So a lot of patients kind of are aware of that. And, a lot of patients that I see specifically are looking for other options. They've had implants for a long time. Some have enjoyed them tremendously. And, that was like the best outcome. And some have had, issues maybe earlier on. I think the life cycle of the implant that your sister had is not atypical. She had them for 20 years, give or take. And, they've lasted her without any problems for about the first 13 to 15. That's statistically around the time. And afterwards, she developed the dreaded complication, which is a capsular contracture, which basically means the scar tissue around that implant has gotten really hard.
And therefore causes her pain.
Correct.
And different issues that she didn't even realize were associated with the implant. Like pain in her back, pain in her neck. She thought it was just her, she's a hairdresser, her being on her feet and working. But you said it's kind of like the implant is kind of forcing her.
The entire body, yeah. So, specifically anatomically, your body will have to compensate for that foreign object that is placed inside of there. And, the bigger the foreign object, the more your body has to compensate, the more it's affected by gravity, so to speak, and pretty much everything else. And eventually the posture takes a little bit of a toll, like because you're carrying all that extra weight. In addition to that, if the implant is under the muscle, then your musculoskeletal system is shifted just a little bit to compensate for that. But, the pectoral muscle is now away from the chest with the implant in between, which is not how you were born. And that pectoral muscle also, to some extent, misaligns the entire shoulder, I would say. The rotator cuff, the deltoid, and even the back, the scapula and the rhomboid muscles and the trapezius muscle in the back, they're just a little misaligned because of that implant being in the way. And if you multiply that by a decade or two, that can add, that can equate into some muscle imbalance, and therefore muscles sort of react by spasming eventually, and patients get a lot of upper body pain and upper muscular, strain, and because of that. And really the cure for that is really just get the implant out of the picture, and a lot of these things just go away. They reset themselves, and I've seen that very consistently. So a lot of patients, the thing I like about our encounter today with your sister is that she came in with a different plan. I mean, she kind of did the traditional thing like, well, the implant is a problem, let's remove it and replace it, which is sort of, if you don't have a long conversation with patients about their goals, that's sort of the go-to solution. It's like, oh yeah, let's just put another one in. But I like to spend a little bit more time and see what are the patient's goals. How much tissue do you have? Maybe we can do something different. Sometimes we can go smaller, and very frequently, in my experience, we can actually remove the implant and rearrange the tissue that the patient has to give her a really nice breast shape and volume without using an implant. And this is the change in our plan that she was actually very happy with.
Yeah, she went in thinking, okay, I definitely want to go smaller because, you know, at this time of her life, that's not something she wants, or big giant boobs, you know. She wants to, you know, not have the strain and just look a little bit more proportionate. And she walked away. I had no idea that this was an option, that you can actually use some of she has a lot of extra tissue, and it's almost like clay in a way. It sounded like you mold it into that tissue it's your own tissue.
Correct.
Into and then I don't know, how does that work?
Well, it's basically, it's called an auto augmentation technique. So bottom line is, yes, as most patients, as they age, there is something that happens to the breast that makes all the breast tissue bigger. There's just more tissue there. The patients gain weight a little bit. Some of that volume will go into the breast. But in addition, there is hormonal changes in the body that induce glandular hypertrophy, as in there's more breast gland there as well. That happens during breastfeeding, that happens during menopause. So typically, at the age that your sister is at, there is a little bit more tissue there than there was when she was originally getting her augmentation.
Yeah, she was like, wait, why all of a sudden am I like a triple D?
Right.
When she was like a D, she wanted to be like a high C, small D when she first got the implants. And then all of a sudden she's like a triple D. She goes, I want to get a new bra. And she goes, how did they get so big? She didn't gain like a ton of weight.
Right.
But like you said, hormones, changes in just life changes, you know?
Correct.
As you grow older.
Yeah, and her goals were actually aligned with what we were both thinking, is that you want to be smaller, you want to be more comfortable. Mm-hmm. But her intent was still like, well, I assume that I'll have to put another implant in there to get to that goal. Maybe you do a lift at the same time to improve the shape. But in her case, because she had a lot of volume of her own breast tissue, I think when I showed her, after my examination and really seeing her tissue and being able to examine how much tissue there is in different places of her breast, I was convinced that we can actually use that tissue, rearrange it into a nicer three-dimensional breast contour without an implant, and still give her a very satisfactory result.
And you know, she told me that her doctor, she was getting all sorts of other not feeling good, some joint pain, and she went to the doctor and he said, well, you may or may not have lupus, but I'm not sure, so we're going to keep an eye. And she's like, wait, what? And it turns out a lot of what happens with older implants and changes like this is symptoms that mimic other things.
Other inflammatory diseases, yeah.
I mean, this taking out her implants could cure so many things that she's suffering from right now. And that's just such a wonderful thing that she could still feel womanly and feel, curvaceous and feel like, pretty and confident.
Was there any risk of, just because of how long they had been in, of like it leaking or anything like that?
Yeah, and then we don't know that. I mean, she a lot of times whenever a patient has a capsular contracture, it's usually preceded by an implant rupture. Oh. So that she has silicone implants, and sometimes if the implant ruptures, the silicone gel comes out of the implant shell and gets in contact with the surrounding scar tissue, and that induces more inflammation, which in turn makes that capsule contract and get tighter and thicker. Sure. And it turns from like something that looks like saran wrap, which is nice and loose, to something that feels like Tupperware.
Oh,
very,
wow.
Very uncomfortable, especially if it's under the muscle. So that implant could be ruptured. The real way to tell is actually get an MRI. That is the most sensitive and specific study for an implant rupture. But if we already made the decision to remove the implant, then it doesn't really matter. That's not going to change our management, so we don't necessarily need one in order to do her surgery.
In recent years, have you noticed a change in what women are wanting as far as like size, shape, things like that?
I may be a biased opinion. I'm I sort of focus in that area kind of more than anything. So because of that, I get a skewed population of patients who are looking to be smaller. I think, though, the trend is that the volume is a little overrated, I suppose. I think nice and proportionate is always in. It's always going to be a good style. But I think lots of patients complain to me about, like, oh my God, it's Pam Anderson, it's Baywatch, this is why I did it. That 20 years ago, this is what was hot, and everybody wanted to look like her, and I did it because I saw that on TV, and that was just a trend at that time to be just a little extra, a little bit more voluptuous. I think nowadays I'm seeing more and more patients are feeling very, very comfortable with just nice proportionate contours, sporty, athletic, not necessarily overly voluptuous. And I think those numbers speak for themselves. I mean, as one of the largest practices in San Diego, we are definitely seeing a drop-off in how many augmentations we do. I think it used to be a lot more in the past, and it's a little bit less now. And in addition to that, I think patients are tending towards smaller implant sizes, which is also reflective of that trend.
So what have you noticed is getting hotter and hotter? What's like the thing that everybody wants? Is it the 360 lipo? Did I describe that right or not at all?
Well, I suppose anything natural, is a big trend. I think patients do want to go back to natural and organic, and
whatever. I was born this way.
Right.
I was born perfect.
But yeah, I mean, touching on that, the 360 lipo is a great example of that, because you described it perfectly. It's basically we basically put a stick through the patient and roast them.
Oh my God!
Just kidding. We basically, I do reposition the patient multiple times, but 360 liposuction is literally just liposuction all around. Which basically includes the torso. So in the past, patients had a problem area. Oh, I hate my abdomen, I hate my flanks, and we would just, the doctors would focus on liposuction in that area. But in reality, if you just focus on one area and ignore the others, then that may sort of look disproportionate. And if that patient gains weight in the future, then it gets really disproportionate, because the area that wasn't addressed now gets too big relative to the area that was, and things just start looking really weird. So the better thing to do is just blend these areas together. And like the ultimate way to do it is to really just do a 360, just go all around the torso and really contour in everything congruently and evenly, so that even if weight changes happen in the future, they happen in a favorable, even fashion as opposed to focal.
As a relative of my sister, obviously we share the same genes. Would it be possible for me to use some of her extra fat in my butt?
Only if you're genetically identical twins.
Oh, darn it.
That's the only, and I have yet to do that case. I actually came across.
Really?
This is an interesting question. It happens all the time. Whenever we have patients, it's like, oh, we have to fat grafting. And the husband or the sister is always like, can I donate some fat? The reality is, yes, you can if you are a genetically identical twin.
Oh, wow.
Because if you're not, the body just rejects it. Is
correct.
That what,
it's like basically a transplant.
Yeah.
And, obviously we're not going to put you on transplant drugs to keep fat. That's not the purpose of that. It's too many side effects associated with that. So it's not even done. It's not a consideration. I did have I did have a patient one time that did not have a lot of fat, and she had very little breast volume. She did not want an implant. She wanted to do fat grafting to her breast to increase her volume. And she said, can anybody donate fat to me? And I said, same thing, only if you're a genetically identical twin. And she said, I actually do.
Oh.
Can we bring her in? I'm like, well, sure, that would be awesome. Let's actually explore this, because I got really excited about it. Turns out that her sister is also very, very thin. There's also an issue with not a lot of fat to donate. So, and she's and she wouldn't go for it. She's busy. So it was kind of a joke.
Just gain some weight. Gain like 20 pounds.
But I was this close to that.
Oh my gosh!
I really want to do that.
It seems like you really love like a challenge. You love a new kind of. A newer case, like something you've never seen before. Like what excites you most of all about being do you like being called a plastic surgeon? Are you a cosmetic surgeon? What do you like to be called?
I mean, we graduate with plastic and reconstructive, and I did an aesthetic plastic surgery fellowship. So as opposed to cosmetic surgeons, and I know that La Jolla Cosmetic is cosmetic, that word though is a little bit of a stigma. There's a lot of non-surgeons, non-plastic surgeons who do some sort of a course in something like, let's say, breast augmentation or liposuction or something, and they call themselves cosmetic surgeons, which is actually a telltale. They're not actually a plastic surgeon. If you're a plastic surgeon, you call yourself a plastic surgeon.
Oh, okay.
Maybe with an aesthetic fellowship background, that kind of thing. As a cosmetic surgeon typically implies I'm a doctor who was board certified in something else, potentially internal medicine or maybe even general surgery, and never did a plastic surgery fellowship. And and that's so. To answer your question, this is a very long answer to your question, but plastic surgery.
If you were on an airplane and you were next to somebody who just started choking and like was dying on the floor, could you do like a tracheotomy? Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, I always get so freaked out by that kind of thing.
Well, I have a pretty extensive background. I did military training in the past. I was
What is your background? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I originally graduated from University of Chicago for undergrad, and then I did medical school at University of Illinois, and then at the time the Navy paid for that scholarship, so then I owed the Navy time back. It's called an HPSP program. It's very popular. There's a lot of doctors that I know that went through the same program. But we basically owe them time to give back and do military service, active duty service. So mine happened to be with the Marines, and I happened to deploy twice to Iraq, to Ramadi in 05, 06, 07, which was actually a very busy time in Air Anbar province in Ramadi at the time. So I saw a lot of combat trauma that I was, handling firsthand. So wow. That's a lot of experience there. And then afterwards, I did a general surgery and residency in downtown in Chicago, and we do our trauma training on the south side of Chicago, which you may or may not know is also a pretty busy place when it comes to gun violence and things like that.
The south side of Chicago. What's the Chicago accent? We were trying to do accents the other day.
I butchered it. It was not good.
South side of Chicago. No, I don't know.
I'm a Polish Chicago.
I was saying, where are you originally from? Because you're not originally from Chicago.
I was born in Poland. Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Came here when I was 11.
Well, when you were a kid, did you know you wanted to be a doctor?
No.
What did you want to be? You wanted to be a race car driver, probably. You said you have a bit of affinity for that.
I think I wanted to be a pilot.
Oh.
Yeah, I think at that time that would be my, that if I couldn't do plastic surgery and you told me I could do anything else in life, probably like a fighter pilot would be good.
Wow.
Nice. Or a race car driver would be a close second, I suppose. But fighter pilot is 3-dimensional. It's even better.
Well, I'm just curious. You don't have to. I don't know. What did you drive here today?
It's just a little, modest Lotus.
I know. Oh my gosh, I love your Instagram, because then you have kids and they're in the back. Is there a back seat in a
there
Lotus?
Is. Yeah. Oh, in that one there is. Yeah, you can fit a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old very comfortably in there. So.
Okay, now what's BBL exactly?
So BBL is a Brazilian butt lift, which is basically a kind of an acronym for 360 lipo in general, and then fat transfer to the buttock.
Now, do you do like actual butt implants where you put an implant like this in a butt cheek?
I know how to do it. I would not recommend it. I know.
Do any doctors really recommend that?
There's a few surgeons that do it. I know one personally that I trained with, and he has pretty good success, but it's usually for patients who really don't have a lot of fat on their own. They're really looking for other options, and this is sort of the only other option to add volume. Those implants tend to have very high complication rates, especially in the long run, because you sit on them all the time. They do get misplaced, mispositioned, malpositioned, and they can become painful. They can flip. That space that they live in can be, stretch and extend. And I think in the long run, they run into like 60-70% complication rates, and eventually they have to be removed. So they're also not forever. And then you're dealing with kind of a deflated buttock again with a little bit of extra skin that grew around it, and it's even worse.
Yeah.
So, I have a friend that got that done,
butt.
and he could flip the implant in his
Oh boy.
Right.
Oh boy.
Just reach up and flip it. And I was all, well, I don't think that's supposed to happen.
I don't think so. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's not an uncommon.
Oh, wow. That is
so
crazy.
What is an average day for you? Do you like tomorrow? What do you got going on? How many surgeries or?
So funny you should say that. I do have a 360 lipo and fat transfer case, and then I have an explant case as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm going to remove a set of implants in the patient, and we are going to just let the natural. She's a little bit younger. She didn't have implants for a very long time, so we're going to go ahead and let her tissue resettle. A lot of times the decision is made, like if somebody's thinking about having kids in the future, they want to breastfeed. We don't want to put any additional incisions on the breast, so we allow the shape to just kind of go back to what it's going to be without any surgical trauma.
Oh, something my sister said that I'm interested to know how you're going to fix. Now, she might be mad at me for bringing up, but she said along with some of the other things that have happened to her breasts, her areolas have gotten bigger. And now, how do you fix that?
That's the easy part.
Really?
So
It
there's
seems like it'd be
templates we use for that. So basically,
a template. Okay.
yeah, like a circle. I hate to use the word cookie cutter, but that's what they call them in the operating room. But when we rearrange the entire breast to do a lift, we basically make certain incisions, and one of the incisions is around the areola. And it's a skin deep incision. We don't remove the areola. We leave it attached to the blood supply and the nerve supply, but we cut the skin around it, and that gives us the opportunity to choose the exact size. And then we make additional skin incisions, rearrange the tissue, and then we put the areola in a place where we want it to be. Usually it's a little higher, and we sew the skin back around it again. But again, that intervention allows us to just choose the size of the areola.
What would you say to somebody who's watching or listening right now who wants to get something done, whether it be bigger breasts, smaller breasts, lipo, but is having trouble making that next step? What do you say to somebody like that?
Hard to answer a question. I suppose do your research, see what's available, and see what your goals are.
Yeah.
The BBL has a lot of stigma, so that's kind of a good example to answer these questions, because a lot of patients have this sort of stigmatized, when you talk about Brazilian butt lift, everybody immediately thinks of Kim Kardashian and the fact that she has a lot of volume down there and nobody really wants to look like that.
What is that? Is that for her own fat? Like, how did she get a body like that?
I don't know the details behind her surgery, but I think there's more than just her fat in there. There's other fillers that are astronomically expensive for the common folk, but maybe she can afford them, but in those quantities especially. But she is a little bit on the exaggerated side, if you ask me, which is, that's what the look she was going for, then that's okay. Most patients don't want to look like that. In fact, whenever I do a BBL, one of the opening lines the patient says is like, I'm thinking about putting fat into my buttock, but I don't want to look like Kim Kardashian. I don't want to look overdone. And that's perfect, because usually that's exactly the focus. Is what we want to do is just restore youth. We want to take you back to what you look like in your 20s and stuff, when volume was in the right places and not in the wrong places.
Right.
And that's the whole point of a 360 lipo. We borrow from where we don't want the fat, and we put it into places where we do want the fat. And the bonus of that is you don't only look better immediately after that surgery, but you age more gracefully, because as your weight changes 10, 20, 30 years later, you will gain proportionately less in these problem areas where we took fat from, and you're going to gain proportionately more in the area where we actually added fat.
Nice. So you gain weight in your tatas and your booty.
Right.
I have a question for you. Speaking of the Kardashians, there's been a lot of talk lately about Lindsay Lohan, Brad Pitt, the mom, Kris Jenner, getting a type of facelift that, they all look great. What do you know what that's called?
I don't. There's a lot of speculation on it. I don't follow celebrities nearly as much as I should, I suppose, in my profession. But I think a ponytail lift was one of the terms.
Okay.
Which I've never done. I know it just has to do with the fact that we're sort of pulling towards the back in every direction. I'm not a good person to describe it. It's not something that I've seen like one or two descriptions of it before, but I've never actually seen it done or. No.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's pros and cons to that also.
I'm sure,
so it's not, everything is not without, pros and cons.
A consequence or
correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, there may be a scar placement that is a little bit different than average. Maybe it's the longevity is different. There's a lot of nuances that go into that.
They just sleep with their eyes open now.
Close their eyelids.
Could be. Or lost feelings. I don't know. Right. I shouldn't speak to that. Again, I'm not an expert on that one.
Your very favorite, what is your favorite surgery to do? Period.
I don't know if I have one. I think I think their variety is important.
Seems like you like a challenge too, a little bit of because to see it like an outcome, to see somebody go from this to that.
I think the bottom line is I really like happy patients in the end, and that's what I liked about, the explants. And if there's patients who come really frustrated with I'm on my 5th set of implants, I keep getting a capsular contracture, I had multiple surgeries, blah, blah, blah. And then how can we stop this cycle? And then you remove the implant, you rearrange the tissue, and it's smaller, but it's got a nice youthful contour. They're more comfortable. The scars are gone and they can breathe better. They can relax their shoulders and they go back to their favorite sports. They're like athletically much more comfortable, doing push-ups and upper body. And it's just like, thank you for giving me my life back. That's not an uncommon scenario.
Yeah.
And
I want to say thank you for giving me my confidence back and for giving me a whole new outlook on life. I know it sounds kind of strange saying that just from a breast augmentation, but it's so much more than that. It has changed my life in such a great way. And literally 2 days after surgery, I know this is probably not what you want to hear, but I was at a piano bar, and I mean, I don't drink, but I was like living it up and I was dancing. I mean, I feel like and maybe I'm a freak case, but the recovery was next to nothing in my experience. It was just, everything was great. And I owe it to you and your expertise, obviously. And thank you for that.
Well,
I've been wanting these for a very long time. My whole life, I've been very insecure about this part of my body. And it just really, really...
And honestly, that's the best way to use, if you think about it, the only way to significantly increase the volume of a breast is with an implant. There's nothing else out there. We can do fat grafting, but it doesn't nearly increase it as much. And there's huge other limitations to fat grafting, like how much fat you have and how much tissue there is to graft into. So bottom line, the implant is sort of the only option for that result. And as long as we know what we're getting into, the long-term goals, they're not forever. You might have to have another surgery. I think we had a conversation about, going a little bit on the smaller side, just exactly, and this is exactly why your recovery was a little bit on the easier side. And also, patients who enjoy the implants the longest tend to go a little smaller, because the more weight you have to carry around, sure, it may be a huge bang effect for a couple months or years, but eventually those are the patients that come back sooner, because that weight takes a toll on their bodies much sooner than patients who go a little bit more modest, smaller augmentation. Those are much more longer lasting results. So I'm glad we had that conversation, and I think that's...
Yeah, we talked a lot about, and that's what I really appreciated too. You take a lot of time with your patients, and that's you don't have a whole lot of time. I mean, you've got surgeries to do. You spent so much time with my sister. It means a lot to me that it's not just my sister. You do that with every single person.
We schedule every consultation for about an hour and a half, and we frequently go over. And it's just because that's just how long it takes for us to really arrive at, to inform the patient fully. And to have her go through, the nuances of what are my options, what are my long-term goals. It just takes a little bit of time.
I haven't seen her smile like that in a while, honestly. When she walked out, and I had to rush to work, and she had to go, but she's like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to do this thing that I never thought was possible, using my own tissue, and my life is going to change, and I'm going to feel so much better. And she just her whole face lit up, and it's magical. So thank you. And thanks to Jolla Cosmetic Surgery Center. And you guys are
awesome.
Really the best.
Absolutely. Thank you for your kind words.
Oh my gosh. And if there's anything else you want to say to anybody who's, I don't know, thinking about doing something like that, I mean, I don't know, just go for it, I guess, or schedule a consultation.
Yeah. I suppose, do your research, see what's available, see what's out there, talk to more than one doctor, get a consultation, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. This is elective surgery. You should be really comfortable going into this. And if you see 3 or 4 surgeons that basically kind of have a similar plan and it's congruent with your goals, then that's probably the right option.
You only need to see one. He's right here, right? The only one. Well, Dr. Swistun, thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you so much for helping my sister. She means the world to me, and I'm so happy to see her getting better instead of going downhill. She's going uphill now, and it's going to make my mom so incredibly happy. So thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm confident she'll have a nice result, because she's got an obvious concern that has a very obvious solution. So that alone will help her feel much better. And then I think if she's like the vast majority of my patients, there's going to be other things that she will see sort of improve or maybe even evaporate.
That's really
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I know. And thank you for bringing in the play toy for Erik. Now that we
It
know
kept me out of trouble for.
I know.
And we'll leave that with you for a little longer.
I'll be like a cat batting it around the living room.
Anyway, okay. So there's something we say at the end of our podcast, and I'll say it first, then you say it, and then Erik says it, and then we're done. Okay. Okay. So anyway, not this part, but thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching us live and watching us after the fact and listening to us. It really means a lot to us that you care enough to listen and watch and everything. So thank you, and love your podcast.
Love your podcast.
Love your podcast.
I love you, my sweet babies. Bye.
Mwah.
Thank you guys. Mwah.